and welcome to another episode of Unfiltered. I am your host, Rick Blood. And let's start here. No, let's start over there. Because today is October 2nd, the date in which Spectrum Cable switched over their system from analog and digital to just digital. That means that Cheshire TV Channel 8 and Cheshire TV Channel 10 are changing numbers. It also means that you cannot get any TV, apparently, without a piece of equipment from Spectrum Cable. Yes, I know it's kind of like the whole healthcare thing. They're forcing you to have this piece of equipment in order to get their channel. Even though reflected in the cost of your current TV is the fact that a digital tuner is built into your TV. So, that's all well and good. I can understand Spectrum wanting to make more money over and above the mounds and mounds of profits that they're already making. Here's my problem. I turned on Channel 8 this morning, and as expected, I found there was no Channel 8. It said, this channel has been moved. So, seeing as how we went down and got the box like good little sheep, I clicked over to 1301, which, by the way, I have been watching Channel 8 on for the past, since I got the box. 1301 has been active with Channel 8. Lo and behold, when I turned over to 1301 this morning, nothing there. So I don't know whether you folks are going to see this show or not. I'm keeping my fingers are. As soon as I got to the office, our executive director, Mark Nelson, put in the call directly to Time Warner and the Time Warner representative that we, Spectrum, I'm sorry. See, years and years and years of it being Time Warner and being screwed over by Time Warner, it's like being screwed over by the same people. So Mr. Nelson called and got our representative on the phone, and she said that they will be looking into it and getting it straightened out. Yeah. So, and hey, not just for my show. I mean, you've heard me say time and time again, I don't care if you all folks watch or not. I'm still going to do this show because it releases a lot of that pent-up stuff that I've got in my brain. So, you know, the important stuff is that, you know, if Spectrum doesn't get this straightened out, you're going to miss a lot of great shows. You're going to miss, you know, city council meetings and school board meetings and all the rest of the boring stuff. And you're going to miss, you know, Pat Rainey. You're going to miss Zach Benton. You're going to miss all the great shows that you've been watching. So if you don't see 1301 and 1302 and you followed all the rules and went down and jumped through their little hoops and got their boxes, call them and scream your displeasure. Because that's the only thing that these folks seem to understand. Like, they're just like politicians. They only understand when you're screaming. Yeah. Speaking of which, you know, the Kavanaugh trial went on, you know. The Senate heard both sides, decided to open up an FBI investigation. So they're going to, you know, apparently talk to people who were blackout drunk 35 years ago and see what they remember. I don't know. I'm not sure if she's credible or not. And yeah, I'm tired of hearing that from you folks. Oh, Rick doesn't care about women. Blah, 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 blah. You know, get over yourselves, people. My opinions come from the shit that I've seen in my life. I've seen horrible divorces where wives and husbands lie to reach their end goal. I've seen some of you same folks that scream about tearing families apart running through nasty divorces. So shut up. Look at yourself before you start worrying about the damn world. Plain and simple. Yeah, I've seen untrue allegations. Now, since I'm trying to think, my folks divorced in 73, thereabouts, I think 73. I'm not sure if there were lots of divorces in the 60s because I was just a little tiny kid. And, you know, I didn't pay attention to that. But at some point, this whole divorce thing came up. And through the 70s, through the majority of the 80s, and into the 90s, maybe even still today, women have had the upper hand when it comes to those kind of cases. When it comes to child custody, when it comes to child support, when it comes to alimony. And let me tell you, all you folks in society that don't believe anything, women are smart. Because women know the system. So when it comes to divorce, here's the problem. You get married, at some point, you know, with this no-fault divorce, at some point, you know, the woman, at any point in the marriage, a woman decides, you know, I'm tired of this. She just goes, I want to get a divorce. My husband hit me. Guess what? Boom, the guy's out of the house immediately. You know, even if he did nothing. That's where this whole judicial stuff falls apart. Too many little boys who cried wolf. Yes. I don't know. You know, and this, you know, if a woman wants a divorce and the husband doesn't, it doesn't matter. Guess what? The woman's getting the divorce. And she's going to get alimony and child support and throw the guy out of the house and he'll be homeless trying to pay alimony and child support and all that other stuff. Think about it, people. We've seen it too many damn times. You just can't assume somebody's guilty because he's a white male judge who maybe used to drink too much in high school. Who knows? Again, all this stuff seems to center around either a high school party or a frat party or something like this. And I've heard a lot of stories. I've seen a lot of crap when I was growing up because of the way that colleges were. When I grew up in Keene, I was a townie. I was running all over the college campus. Security wasn't like what it is now. I attended a number of frat parties when I was 15, 16 years old. Guys get drunk, girls get drunk. Guys and girls do what guys and girls do. We're a sexual being. I don't know. It's horrible that the politics in this country, they've tried the race wars. You know, they try, you know, now it's man against woman. Let's divide people even more. Let's see if we can divide men and women. Let's see if we can get them so that they don't even want to interact with each other. Guess what? That solves population control. Sure it does. I don't know. Then again, you know, if guys and girls are going to have absolutely no contact whatsoever with each other, then I guess maybe Victoria's Secret will lose quite a bit of money, because girls, there won't be any place to show off that fancy underwear you bought. Oh, FYI, nowhere in the nursery rhyme does it say that Humpty Dumpty was an egg. Just so you realize that. This being the time of year it is, I'm inclined to believe that Humpty Dumpty might have been a pumpkin. See, I just gave somebody a stupid idea right there, didn't I? Let's see, what the hell else is going on besides this whole political divide stuff and the corporations trying to screw us over? My eyeball, I should be getting my new glasses sometime this week, I hope. I've had them ordered since a week ago Sunday. Oh, here's some cool stuff. It's not really a rant anymore, but, you know, let me take a break from the rant. Because you people you're just killing me. I've started this week in some of my spare time converting my old Unfiltered shows into digital files. You know, the very first shows that I did. Man, was I a friggin' hippie back then or what? God. But from watching some of those old shows, man, did that bring back some memories. And what great times we had back in the beginning, the very beginning of Unfiltered. And there were times when my desk would be full of papers and cards and work that I'd done on the show. I'd put hours and hours into those shows. And then at the end of the show, for a certain amount of time, we ended the show with the credits rolling over a live shot, a high live shot of the full studio. And you would see all the papers that were on my desk scattered all over the floor. Because when I got done with them, I just used to throw them. And they would be all over the floor. We'd have to clean up the whole damn room. But what a blast. Some of the old guests that I had. I saw I watched the first, for a while I did 90 minutes. Because, of course, Unfiltered started as a 1-hour show. And at some point, I think it was around episode 24, 25, maybe a little bit earlier, I decided that an hour wasn't long enough and I needed more time. So we went to 90 minutes. And the first 90-minute show that we did, I watched the other day, and I had a guest on who worked at a bookbinding place. And we were talking about books, and The night that we filmed the first 90-minute episode, there was no heat in the old Heberton Hall, in the old office. And Lee told me, he said, you can either film or not film and run a repeat for the week. I wanted to film, So we went in, the studio was 51 degrees. And it was cold. All my camera guys and booth people, they all had jackets on and hats on and gloves on. We got 70 minutes into the show, and I had to pee. I had to go so bad, I couldn't even think. I couldn't think of the next question I wanted to ask my guest. And this was back when we were live. So, my camera guy, I got my camera guy. I got up, only on live TV, and actually only on live public access TV will you see this move. I got up out of the chair, unmiked myself, put my mic on my camera guy, who then sat in and talked with my guest while I went and did my business. Then came back, we swapped out again, and finished the show. And I remember that was 2007, I think. Early 2007 when we were doing that. And I thought I had only done 2 or 3 90-minute episodes, but I think I did 10 or 11 anyway. There was, I've come across a whole bunch. We used to do a segment with a cat named Tarzan, who was a great guy, very into Veterans Affairs. He was in the autistic spectrum, somewhere in the autistic spectrum. He had some disorders, but a heck of a nice guy, had great opinions, and he would come on the show every now and then. We set up a special set for him. We called it the Bunker, and he has since passed. And once I get all these and figure out exactly which episodes he was in, I'm going to cut out all those bits and send them off to his kids to remember their dad by. But it was great. And some of the old guests, I had Ben Pratt, the magician, on at one point. I had a whole bunch of people. Of course, it started as an interview show back in the beginning, and then it morphed into news and rants. I did for a long time. I did a segment of this day 30 years ago. So I would get stories from, I think that was like 2008. 2007 to 2008, I was doing those. So I would come to the library and I would get copies of stories from the Keene Sentinel from 1977 and 78 on the exact date, or within that week that I was doing the show for. And I'd talk about some of that old stuff. People loved it. And then, now we've morphed into this, where it's simple. I get on here, I rant. I don't usually make any notes, which means that immediately after I get done filming a show, I walk out to my desk and I go, I was going to talk about that, and I forgot. But and today, I had nothing prepared, only because, again, I'm tired of being angry. There are, let's talk about, there's a Facebook page called Awareness 22. If you search it in Facebook, give that page a like. They are dedicated to destroying that number 22 and making it 0. 22 is the number of veterans that commit suicide every single day in the United States. And it's a sad thing. And stems around a lot of issues, bring those thoughts on. But this is a Facebook page. They've got a lot of, inspirational stuff that they post. Just, reminding us that we're important. Who we are is important. Maybe what other people think doesn't really matter, you know? It's what you think of yourself. And it's choices that you make. I know I was going to talk about the whole choice thing. Because I'm sick of getting lumped into categories. You damn people want to divide everything, categorize everything, but yet you want to lump generalities onto everything. So here's a fact. I am against abortion. I think it's wrong. I'm not a Bible thumper. I think it's wrong. I think if you're going to believe the climate science, then believe the biological science. Again, don't pick and choose your sciences. Climate science says that the climate is changing. Biological science says life begins at conception. Okay? Which means that abortion is murder. That's how I feel. But I'm pro-choice. And just because I'm pro-choice doesn't mean I'm for abortion. Remember that. Because it all comes down to choice. Here's another little twist that's going to make this whole thing sound stupid. But it's how I feel. I'm for the death penalty. Against abortion, for the death penalty. So where do I fall on that spectrum you call political science? Right? I'm against abortion, yet I'm pro-choice. Because, again, our lives, pro-choice. You do what you want, I'll do what I want. And neither one should interfere with each other's. Right? That's true freedom. Freedom of speech is being able to say anything you want, as long as it doesn't move beyond speech. If you yell fire in a crowded movie theater, and people just immediately panic and don't look around to see if there's a fire, if you set a fire in a movie theater, that's a different story. You see where I'm going with this? There are words, there are actions. I can say the nicest stuff ever to you. I can tell you you're beautiful. If you're a woman, I can tell you you're beautiful, you've got a gorgeous body. How your mind interprets what you heard, that's on you. If you take something like that and equate it into a gutter remark, well, I feel sorry for you. Because, again, I say something nice. You're beautiful. You're hot. Smoke it hot. That's a compliment. You know? How else do you tell somebody, you know? Again, we interpret our own, we generate our own feelings. We generate our own emotions. Life is a series of struggles and challenges. And removing the challenges doesn't make us better people. Overcoming the challenges makes us better people. That's exactly what it is. You can't grow unless you face challenges. And again, unless you've been in somebody's shoes, don't judge. Don't judge. It's not fair. All right. I don't know. I get so tired of being angry that I get preachy. And it's horrible. And that's what you folks are doing to me. With all your crazy nonsense. Because you can't just focus on your own damn lives. You can't take the time to make what's immediately around you better. You've got to scream and yell and make this big damn scene. You can't even get your own life in order. Let's go back over here. Anyway, wow. Again, I hope you folks see this at home tonight as Spectrum gets its stuff together, because, you know, not a bad show, I don't think. At least from where I'm sitting right here. And the fact that I'm under a minute, so I pulled it off again. And again, if you don't watch, who cares? Less TV might be better for you. Get outside. Enjoy the world. Go stick your toes in the cold surf. You know, don't go all the way in, you know. If it's cold, just your toes. It'll be an awakening that you'll love, guaranteed. All right. Till next week, I'm Rick Blood. This is Unfiltered. Peace.